Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have updates to share about Donald Trump's tariffs and how this tax is just wreaking havoc across the country and is directly impacting Trump voters and states that he won. Before I dive in, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button below this video. Really, really helps the show. I greatly appreciate it. So here is what's happening with the U.S. economy and Mr. Miwaki's tax on, tax off strategy. This week, Trump officially signed an order. He increased steel and aluminum tariffs. It was 25%. He doubled it to 50%. And this is coming at a time when MarketWatch News Report or news outlet reports that the U.S. economy stalled out in the month of May. They wrote, quote, the U.S. economy slowed to a crawl in May with consumers pulling back on spending and businesses delaying hiring. So this is based on the Federal Reserve survey, which was released on Wednesday. And it said that 9 out of 12 federal districts reported either a contraction in spending or just no change. So no growth, just things are either staying the same or they're shrinking. And the report said that all 12 of the districts reported increased economic and policy uncertainty, which they said is causing a, quote, cautious approach to business and household decisions. So people are just like, I'm afraid, I don't know what to do, so I'm just not going to do anything. And here's what that looks like for business owners. The Guardian spoke with a Georgia wine distributor named Carson Demon. This is a woman. She said she's trying to order international products strategically. She gets a lot of her supplies, a lot of her wine from France. And she said, I don't want to get hit with a bunch of huge tariffs on these shipments. So I'm trying to do this strategically. But Demon said shipments are being delayed. And so she fears that the situation is, quote, out of my control. She doesn't know why they're being delayed. She thinks that there's some issue on the other side because of the tariffs. And Demon also said that because of the disruptions in shipping and staffing at the ports, quote, everything is different and unpredictable. I have a hard time quoting arrival times to people. And the Texas Tribune reported that based on a Federal Reserve survey, almost 60% of Texas businesses are saying they have to raise prices, that Trump's tariffs have already harmed their companies and they are going to raise prices. In fact, 60% said they've already been harmed. 75% said, yeah, we either already are or plan to pass the price increases along to our customers. And it's not just Texas, because the Alliance Insurance Company, they went and they surveyed 4,500 companies in 9 different countries, including in the US. And of the US companies that responded, 54% said they will have to raise prices to cover these tariff fees. And according to Reuters news outlet, as of May 29th, Trump's tariffs have already cost businesses over $34 billion. I mean, think about it. We're only not even a couple months into this thing, or about 2 months into this thing, and they've been on and off and on and off and lowered and increased and all over the place, and already it's cost businesses $34 billion. The Daily Mail, they also had some bad news about these tariff taxes. They're actually reducing the production of oil in the US. So the opposite, meaning the tariffs are reducing the production of oil in the US. Completely at odds, completely the opposite of what Donald Trump promised. The Daily Mail explained it. They wrote, quote, oil bosses have warned that America's energy boom is over as Trump's tariffs raise production costs and crude prices fall thanks to an increase in production from Saudi Arabia. The shale revolution of the last few years delivered huge volumes of cheap oil and gas that powered the U.S. economy and broke dependence on foreign imports from places such as Iran, Russia, and Venezuela. production hit record highs under President Joe Biden, but is now falling under Trump. This is not some leftist, lib news outlet. This is a right-wing publication, and they admit oil production was up under Biden. It is now crashing under Donald Trump. And the reason they cite is the increased costs on the materials that are needed for the production of oil. So things like steel, aluminum, and casing. Steel and aluminum, which he just raised the price of, or the tariffs on this week. Homes are also, as you would imagine, affected by the increased prices of these materials. Also, because of lumber costs, some of which, a good deal of which, comes from Canada. And NPR reported that home builders are now pulling back on projects because of the decrease in demand. NPR spoke with a biology professor, and he said he planned to purchase a home, or she, I think it was a woman. She said, yeah, I was going to buy a home with my mom this spring, but because of market conditions, she has now put that off, or they have. She said, quote, "It feels very much like we're in a holding pattern." And a lot of people are saying that between interest rates being up, because of the tariffs, because of the way that they affected the bond market, the building costs have gone up. Builders are pulling back, not building as much. Existing home owners are saying, I don't want to move because now I'm going to end up with this high interest rate when I was able to get in at, 3%, 4% just a few years back. And builders are now saying that they're unsure how to even price properties because the tariffs keep changing. So they don't know, am I going to eat it on this house if I price it at the rates right now? And then all of a sudden Donald Trump gets a hair up his ass, and he decides, I'm going to double everything again, or Xi pissed me off, or Xi Jinping pissed me off. And so I'm going to raise everything again and go back to 145%. I mean, nobody knows. So all of this turmoil, all of this upward pressure on prices is affecting the job market. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution just published an article, and it's titled "Georgia College Grads Struggle to Find Work as Recession Worries Loom." An associate professor at Emory University in Georgia, he told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that some of his students that he knows had jobs lined up, but because of the uncertainty in the market, some of their offers were rescinded. And the professor pointed to the fact that there's now this large cohort of experienced former government employees who were just laid off. They are now hunting for jobs as well. So this is who these students are now competing with. And he explained that, they're graduating into an economy that, based on what we know, based on, previous generations, we can predict that this will negatively impact them 30 to 40 years down the road. So their failure to launch, failure to, get a good paying job, move into the workforce, meet all of the various milestones that people meet as they graduate, as they get older, move along in life, that will affect them negatively down the road, decades. One student who is directly affected by this mess is named Malaki Bharat, I believe is how you pronounce it. He graduated with a degree in computer information systems. He has now applied for 50 different jobs. He still hasn't managed to land even an entry-level position. And he told the AJC it's because he is competing against people who have experience and people with master's degrees. And it doesn't look like things are going to change anytime soon, because Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he just admitted that this so-called trade deal with China has completely stalled out. Donald Trump just had a call with Xi Jinping, And he's trying to sell it again as, oh, it went really well. We had a good talk. No word on them actually coming to an agreement. And Trump is just constantly trying to start drama with them. He claimed, oh, they're screwing up and they messed up this deal and they're violating the agreement. China came out and said, no, it's actually the US that's violating the agreement. And it was only temporary. We don't actually have a trade deal in place. So we'll see if Taco caves. We'll see, if maybe his ego is too big to admit defeat and if he hangs in there. But whatever happens in the meantime, we're all going to suffer due to the fact that we have a spoiled brat in the White House who didn't get enough hugs as a child. That's what it boils down to. All right, guys, I will let you know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.